Beneath the once mighty waters of the Euphrates River lies a startling find, the potential tomb of the legendary giant Gilgamesh. Recent expeditions and cutting-edge technology have unveiled some surprising clues, suggesting that the ancient city of Uruk may indeed hold the final resting place of this mythical figure. Join us in this video as we delve into the captivating quest to unravel the mysteries surrounding Gilgamesh's long-lost tomb. In a remarkable expedition led by Germans, the lost city of Uruk has been uncovered, complete with what is believed to be the final resting place of its renowned king. From the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments in Munich, Jorg Fassbinder cautiously suggested, "I don't want to say it was the grave of King Gilgamesh, but it looks very similar to that described in the epic." According to the ancient clay tablets, Gilgamesh was said to have been laid to rest beneath the Euphrates in a tomb that emerged when the river's waters receded after his demise. We found just outside the city an area in the middle of the former Euphrates River, the remains of such a building which could be interpreted as a burial, explained Mr. Fassbinder. Advanced technology made this extraordinary discovery of the ancient city buried beneath the Iraqi desert possible. By differences in magnetization in the soil, you can look into the ground, Mr. Fassbinder clarified. The variations between mud bricks and sediments in the Euphrates enabled the creation of a detailed digital map, unveiling the layout of Uruk. Among the astonishing finds were structures matching Gilgamesh's descriptions, sprawling over 100 hectares. We have found garden structures and field structures as described in the epic, and we found Babylonian houses, shared Mr. Fassbinder. However, the most astounding revelation was an intricate network of canals, demonstrating a highly sophisticated system. It was like Venice in the desert, he marveled. Story of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh, a fearless hero from an ancient epic, is like the grandparent of heroes who came after him. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a magnificent literary work from ancient Mesopotamia, recounts his thrilling journey. This epic tale revolves around Gilgamesh, a legendary king who ruled over Uruk, now in Iraq, around 2700 BCE. Rediscovering this epic was a groundbreaking moment that deepened our understanding of the ancient Near East and forever influenced the study of the Hebrew Bible. Gilgamesh's story was written in a script called cuneiform. Though rivaled by Egyptian sources, this ancient form of writing holds the title of the earliest writing system. However, as time passed and the 1st century CE approached, the cuneiform script vanished, taking with it the knowledge of the Epic of Gilgamesh. For nearly 2,000 years, the clay tablets that contained Gilgamesh's tales lay hidden, buried alongside countless other cuneiform texts and beneath the ruins of the magnificent library of Ashurbanipal. In the popular Babylonian version of the story, Gilgamesh embarks on thrilling adventures after leaving his hometown of Uruk in modern-day Iraq, accompanied by his loyal friend Enkidu. They forge a legendary bond, a true literary bromance. Together they face the terrifying forest guardian Humbaba and confront the immense bull of heaven, whose snorts create sinkholes. Tragedy strikes when Enkidu dies, forcing Gilgamesh to continue his journey alone in search of eternal life. He seeks the secrets of immortality across the treacherous water of death and the path of the sun. Along the way he encounters Utanapishtim, the legendary survivor of the Great Flood. Though unable to grant Gilgamesh eternal life, Utanapishtim reveals the location of a miraculous herb that can restore youth. Unfortunately, a snake steals the plant just as Gilgamesh is about to taste its powers. Crestfallen, he returns home, concluding the epic tale. In 1872, the British Museum's George Smith, a self-taught expert in cuneiform, translated the Gilgamesh epic. Smith's groundbreaking work revealed a remarkable similarity between the ancient Babylonian flood narrative and the biblical story of Noah's Ark. It is said that Smith was so thrilled by his decipherment that he stripped off his clothes in excitement. Since the early days of studying the Gilgamesh epic, scholars have drawn comparisons and connections to the Bible, particularly regarding the flood narratives. In his well-known analysis, Heidel emphasized the striking parallels between the flood stories found in the Hebrew Bible and the entire corpus of cuneiform writings from Mesopotamia. Despite recent advancements in Assyriology and new archaeological findings, the relationship between the flood stories in Gilgamesh and Genesis remain largely unchanged. The Epic of Gilgamesh incorporates elements from the earlier Atrahasis account, possibly added by Sin Lead Running. Apart from the flood narratives, other aspects of Gilgamesh have intrigued scholars. Comparisons have been made between Gilgamesh's quest for rejuvenation and the biblical story of the forbidden fruit and the serpent's temptation. Similarities have also been noted between the civilization of Enkidu by Shamhat and the tale of Adam and Eve. In Tablet 11, Utanapishtim recounts the flood story to Gilgamesh. The gods unleashed the deluge to reduce humanity or due to the disturbance caused by human noise, specifically Enlil's displeasure. Utanapishtim built a boat as the cunning god Ea instructed, and he and his family, along with animals, survived the storm. Afterwards, Utanapishtim offered a sacrifice to the gods, who acknowledged their mistake and granted him and his wife special immortality, vowing not to flood the world again. Similarity with the Book of Genesis. Readers familiar with the Book of Genesis will recognize several similarities between the flood story in Genesis 6-9 and the Gilgamesh epic. Both narratives involve divine intent to destroy most of humanity. The selection of a chosen individual to ensure survival, the construction of an ark, the inclusion of animals, the occurrence of the flood, the use of birds to test the receding waters, post-flood sacrifices, and the divine promise to refrain from future destructive floods. Structural similarities are also apparent. Scholars generally attribute the similarities to the influence of the Babylonian flood story in the Gilgamesh epic on the Genesis flood narrative. The Babylonian accounts predate the biblical story and align with the geographical and hydrological conditions of Mesopotamia more closely than those of Palestine. However, there are notable differences between the two accounts. The number of deities involved in planning the flood differs. The vivid depiction of the storm in Mesopotamian story is absent in the biblical text. In addition, Utanapishtim employs deceptive riddling while Noah remains silent. These differences arise from the theological perspectives inherent in Genesis 6-8, where the flood is portrayed as a punishment for human sin. The contrasting contexts in which the stories are told contribute to the differences. Genesis emphasizes the piety of Noah and the character of God, while the Gilgamesh epic highlights the secret wisdom of the flood survivor. Communication plays a significant role in the Gilgamesh account, where dialogues between Utanapishtim and Ea occur, while Noah's silence is notable in Genesis. Gilgamesh beyond Genesis. Scholars have debated the cultural connection between the Epic of Gilgamesh and the biblical book of Ecclesiastes. One notable similarity is the advice given to Gilgamesh by Siduri and to Koheleth in Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Both advise embracing life's pleasures and joys, recognizing the fleeting nature of existence. While these parallels suggest a connection, it is premature to conclude direct cultural contact. The wisdom literature in both texts offers timeless guidance applicable across different periods, but surprisingly, Ecclesiastes aligns more closely with the old Babylonian version of the Gilgamesh epic, despite being composed later. Another link between the Hebrew Bible and the Gilgamesh epic is the flood narrative, showing the lasting influence of the Mesopotamian epic on biblical literature. Furthermore, the name Gilgamesh appears in the Book of Giants, a fragmentary text in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This book describes Gilgamesh as one of the giants who perished in the flood. The Book of Giants, with apocryphal Book 1 of Enoch, recounts the exploits and visions of giants. The text references Gilgamesh and other giants, including Hobabish, derived from Humbaba. Despite being fragmented, Enoch intervenes on behalf of the giants in the book. The Book of Giants shares thematic elements with the Gilgamesh epic, such as the interpretation of dreams and the flood. Later, Manichaean sects in the Middle East drew upon the Book of Giants, further contributing to its literary legacy. State Department emails released under the Freedom of Information Act. A recent email from the State Department inquiring about the Gilgamesh resurrection chamber and the buried Nephilim has gained attention online. The email's authenticity is uncertain, though it can be found in the State Department's Freedom of Information Act log. The requester's identity, Dinetra de Senegar, is questionable and could be a pseudonym. Some speculate that the email may have a hidden meaning, but the true nature and significance of the buried Nephilim and Gilgamesh remain unknown. The idea that the government aims to resurrect fallen angels for a divine war lacks scientific or religious support. Similarly, claims linking CERN's dark matter research to awakening the beast lack credible evidence. While interest in the mystery persists, the whereabouts of the resurrection chamber and the Nephilim likely differ from their 2003 locations. Unfortunately, little is known about Gilgamesh beyond the alleged tomb and body discovered in 2003. So what do you think of this surprising discovery beneath the dried up Euphrates River? What does this indicate? Comment below and subscribe for more.